Hello, it's Dr. Durst. So today is a special video for me. I have Sonya here with me, and we want to have a conversation about Sonya's journey with hormones and with me and with the office, and just talk to her about things that she was experiencing and improvements that she's seen. So welcome, Sonya.
Hello.
All right. So I'm going to ask questions. Again, we've sat down, we've had so many conversations in the office. I can't tell you I mean, you never know what's going to come up, right?
Right.
When you're in the office, the questions and the conversations are humorous. But so we've had so many conversations. I just asked if she would be comfortable having one on camera so that if women have questions, they can actually see a patient with their experience with hormones and what led them to us to seek some solution. So, what was the prompting, reason why you ended up making it, or why did you first come to RMD? Because it wasn't even hormones initially.
No, it was looking for some nutritional services.
Okay.
And I was looking for B12, just a
Okay.
simple B12 at the time. And so I seen your advertisement online and I said, well, I'm going to try it because it's local. And so I made the appointment. I was just so grateful just to have that one appointment and went down. And it was just an experience that just grew
Okay. And it was just a B12 injection at the
at
time.
the time.
So not
Yes.
even an IV the first time.
No, no.
Okay. Did you end up doing some
I
IVs
did the
then?
IV and a glutathione treatment.
Okay. And so a lot of times that's an energy, their patients are feeling some kind of energy or even brain fog as a reason for even prompting to get a B12 or an IV infusion. Were those some of the symptoms that you were having?
Well, I was having quite a few symptoms
Okay.
from menopause, probably, and I didn't know it. And but I knew I needed something because my body was telling me I needed it. And so I was looking, and I wasn't getting that from a regular doctor. So I decided to go ahead and do the IVs.
Okay.
I
And
did those for a year.
okay, so even before the hormones, and I don't even think I realized that that duration was a year. And so what were some of the symptoms that you were feeling if you were to list, the top
One of
like
the one of the
five?
number ones was I hurt and ached all over my neck and shoulders, and trouble sleeping, the night sweats, the you just be driving down the road and all of a sudden you get hot,
Yeah.
So and just brain fog constantly.
Okay. And those had been going on for some time?
Oh yes,
Okay. And you had already talked to your primary doctor or gynecologist about it.
yes I did.
Tell us about that experience. We've had
Well,
this conversation.
that was a journey.
Hmm.
I had to go to several GYNs, and none of them wanted to prescribe any kind of hormonal help. And you try to understand that at my age they didn't want to, but I was insisting. So I kept insisting till one GYN out of town. I had to go out of town to get that. And gave me a little patch, but she gave me the minimum, the lowest minimum that she could possibly give me. And she said, I'm not really comfortable giving you this. And I said, well, I need something, and this is what I want. And so she gave it to me. And so then I went to a general practitioner to be closer to home. And I said, this is what she's given me. And he decided he would give it to me too. And so I said, well, this is going to be better than nothing. And I slept so good just for
Okay.
like a night or two. So it wasn't lasting. I was only getting it one a week. So it
Okay.
was 4 months, one a week, and it wasn't lasting.
Okay.
And so one of the girls at your office told me about the pellets, and I decided to try the pellets.
Mm.
And when I did, it changed. It just changed my whole way of thinking.
So this is important. Number one, because leading up to this, before we even get to pellets and the treatments that are comprehensive, did they do blood testing with your
Yes.
gynecologist and your primary
Yes.
doctor? And then it was estrogen only that they were prescribing because that's in a patch in a weekly form. So again, it's more than that women have. but that's what is used, and you basically had to find somebody that was doing it, and then they were further directing your primary,
Yes.
to be comfortable with it. So
Yeah.
okay. And then, so we do blood work with our patients. And so what would happen with Sonya is Sonya had blood work done, and then we sit down and we talk numbers, but it's not just estrogen then. So we're talking numbers. You've heard, the pellets being great, but we sit down and talk about numbers. So do you feel like you understand hormones better?
Much better.
Okay. And it's been a huge learning process for you, right? So tell me a little
Yes.
bit. We just had a conversation about, that commitment. So it's a commitment on our part to sit down and educate our patients about numbers and all the different hormones that a woman has that need to be optimized if they do. And then, but also a commitment on your part to learn and, let us know if there's
Yes.
issues.
You must understand.
So
Yes.
tell us a little bit from the very beginning, sitting down with numbers and talking. Was that a much different experience for you than you had with the primary or the gynecologist?
Well, with the primary care guy, I'm going to call him a guy, he done blood tests every year on me. And I just kept getting worse and worse. Keep in mind, I'm still taking the patch. And the last time he done it, I had went in, and that's why he done it, was the first of the year. They always do a blood test. And I just decided to call. Instead of them calling me, I called them. They happened to get a new nurse in. I said, I need to know what my blood test showed. And so she told me I was low in my thyroid. And that's part of the hormonals.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was low in B12 and something else, a vitamin D3. And these here, it just kind of like there's something wrong. And this is right at the time I'm coming to you. And so I decided I want a copy. Well, they didn't want to give me a copy. And so I said, well, it's okay. So I just went to you. And that's when you done the blood work and showed me the schematics. And I'm like, wow. That
Yeah.
one visit with you opened my eyes to what I've been being treated as.
Mm-hmm.
And I
It,
was being treated as my age. And they wanted me to stay my age, is how I felt.
mm.
And that was just something I didn't want because I was still working. I'm still working today.
Well, you didn't feel like yourself.
Right. I wasn't myself. I knew it. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just, I had a limp, that which I do not have today. I think that had to do with the hormones. And they were just catering to my symptoms, is what they were doing. And of course, I was using the insurance at that office too, as well.
Which brings us to the insurance dictated care, because you have experienced that
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Like what insurance will dictate, and the primary doctors and gynecologists are responding to that,
Mm-hmm.
and how that's different.
Even though they know the true answers, they can only give you what the insurance will allow them to give. And it holds them responsible. That's why they're not catering to ladies who need it.
Do you feel like they are limited in how often they can see you and the contact they have with you versus what you see with us?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And do you feel like if you have questions that you can get those answered more directly and have more open conversations for understanding, like what's going on with your body and how it can be improved?
Yes, with you all. Yes.
Okay.
Because if you ask a doctor, a regular general practitioner, they'll actually look at you and say, well, this and this I can do, but this here doesn't matter at your age. So that's being, you know, it makes you feel bad, I'll just tell you. I
Yeah.
felt very bad, and I knew the doctor very good, so it made me feel really strange.
So it makes you feel bad when somebody is acting like you're too old for treatments or
Yes,
listening or symptom control, and they
yes,
just ignore.
yes, they want to, it makes you feel like, and I have seen this in my past. I'm a lady of age, and I have seen this in the past, and I knew it would be my turn someday, but I always just kept going. But it makes you feel like they're going to throw you away, and throw you to the corner while everybody else keeps on going. And that's exactly what I've seen. And it's really tragic.
When you talk to other women now, do you hear those same stories?
Other women just seem like they do not know. They're going through the same process as I did, and I'll give them answers to go, and they'll look at me really surprised. And and I'll write down what I think they need. Had to start with like vitamin D3, something simple, and they're like, "What? Vitamin D3?" I said, "Yes, it's a hormone." And then I said, "Go to your doctor and see what they say." And then, oh
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah, and that's exactly why we're doing this video right now, is because again, you have conversations with women that don't know that there's solutions out there and don't know where to find them.
I've seen women with thyroid problems, and I knew that I had low thyroid, and I'll just tell them your thyroid is having a problem, and you need to have it checked. I can look and see. I'm that good now. I can see it.
Yeah. Well, and again, Sonya's super active. Like she is working all the time. She's up early. She's active. She is nonstop, always energetic. So, but
Yes.
we will at some point show the pictures too, just a before and after of Sonya, just in general. Because one time we'd started doing some aesthetic treatments with you, and I ran up to the front and was like, "Are you okay if we use these?" Because it's just amazing, just the difference in like just the youthfulness and the vibrancy. And yes, you've done the aesthetic stuff, but even like weight loss and just the overall glow. And somebody else had said it really well, like, women didn't tell me, but there were other people doing like pellets and they never told me that I could get my shine back. And that's what those before and after pictures show, is
Yes.
a different Sonya.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. Like, how do you feel now versus before? And when we showed you those pictures,
Well, they was we've been putting a new roof on the house, and the wind blowed off the tarp because the storm came recently, and so here I am climbing on top of the roof and going to put that tarp back, and I do. I mean, not many women at my age do that.
no, she's active for sure.
Yes,
And you feel like you again.
I feel like I was when I was young.
And that is what
Actually,
those pictures,
better.
and
Yeah.
that's what those pictures show, is like,
Well, I actually hurt more when I was younger than I do today. That makes a big difference.
an energy level.
Way up there. As a matter of fact, I got up at 3:30 this morning.
Yeah, no, she is nonstop. When
Yeah.
I say that, it's active from the moment that she walks in the office, but she's again the sense of humor and the stories that we talk about, even with other women, just in general, and the things we hear. Because I feel like patients are way more proactive, such as you, in seeking treatments and solutions than the medical community is in providing those solutions. And in fact, scaring sometimes. At least yours just didn't know, but haven't scared you since, right?
No,
When you talk about it, they,
no, they don't scare me.
yeah.
Another thing that when you watch people, if you're like around people your age and you're watching them, you can kind of tell what they're not doing, because how they're getting around. And all of them are on blood pressure, blood thinners, and stuff like that. And they're always cold, and you feel for them.
Yeah. And they hurt and they're not sleeping and they look tired. And
Yes, you can
yeah,
see it on their face, and
yeah,
it's really sad
yeah, it is
because it doesn't have to be this way.
correct. And so you've been doing it now for,
4 years, going on 4 years.
and you feel like it yourself. I don't want to say different because of course she feels different, but the key is
It's
that
more
she feels,
myself, yeah. Because I wasn't myself. I felt like I was already older than I was. Now I feel more myself.
and even better than
I would say
younger.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, notice we haven't talked about like sex drive as being part of this because that's just one piece of it. And when we're talking about hormones, we're talking about progesterone when it needs to be optimized, which helps with sleep. So your sleep is much better now
Much
than it
better.
was. And then I know you had hot flashes initially, and that can be progesterone or estrogen. but menopausal, and we started estrogen. Have you had any major side effects with that you feel?
No,
Okay.
not that I know of.
And we like again are meeting with patients every 3 months and talking numbers and adjusting if need be. And we do a lot of pellets, and I'm a huge proponent of pellets just because it's a minor incision and procedure in the office, and then you get more steady state levels and you don't have to worry about really administering something. So the pellet procedure for you, has it ever been a big ordeal?
No.
Okay. And again, it's like just an in-office takes, 15 minutes max, from the time
Yes.
you're on the
It's
table
so
to,
quick. You're like, Holly, I just
yeah.
got here.
Yeah. And we're really talking the whole time too, because
Yes.
we tend to talk a lot as well. And
Yes.
so we get to know our female patients well. Do you feel like that's a fair
I
statement?
would think that's very fair.
Yeah. I mean, we get to know you well, you get to know us well. We want to be in contact. I think that's where traditional medicine fails, is that it is dictated by insurance. So, we have a text messaging service, that if they want to just ask questions that way, I feel like we're pretty easy to get in touch with from the office. But also just frequent visits in, and we get to know, and you get to know us, good or bad, very
Yes.
well as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and then I think weight is another thing that, you'll build muscle better, be stronger, be more energetic, and sometimes we'll use peptides in addition, but it's always done in a managed way so that you have, the best effects, but not too much,
Right.
because we never want to lose muscle mass, and you never felt
Right.
like you've lost any muscle mass with any of this.
No.
Okay. And any major side effects with any of them that you feel?
No. No. It's always a positive.
And people will. So, like, again, she's had a great experience all the way around, which I feel like that's important because it's been 4 years since she's been doing it. And so you get a long-term feel for what a patient wants to share about an experience after 4 years of hormones, and whether there's been side effects, whether she still feels, that improvement. But some people will have side effects, but I think that managing them and having conversations, and you feel like if you ever had issues, you could reach out
Oh, yes.
and adjust. And
Oh,
so,
yes.
and I think that's the thing in traditional medicine, is that they put people on medications and we never are taught to take them off. And are you currently on medications that,
No.
I mean, anything major? It would be general.
Nothing major.
And then we've never discussed any medications.
No.
And I feel like the hormones is more of a natural thing we're giving the body back, and it's meant for prevention. And so, have you had any bone, tests at all that have looked at?
No. No, but I was wanting to do that.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, it'll be interesting because she's optimized completely for that. And again, just the fact that she doesn't have that, her functionality is great and she's active as can be and doesn't have pain, probably tells you that that's why people aren't bringing up, and even the primary care is bringing up having
You
bone
almost
testing
forget
because,
you ever had the pain
yeah.
until you start really thinking about it.
And joint aches and pains isn't something that women think about
No.
at all as being a hormonal issue.
Right.
What about mood overall?
Oh, my mood, my personality and mood just blossomed. I was in a really deep depression. We won't go into why, but I was, and that's why I was just going from day to day. It was just really a sad situation, and so my moods changed so drastically that it was, here she comes, here she comes again.
And look out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she definitely has personality
Yeah.
that shines through, which is great. That's what you want.
Yes.
And you want that forever. And so when it comes to libido, that's been an improvement as
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so I will just say, and you can be general or you can be as specific, but when you talk about, we had a recent conversation about this in the office, just how, the primary care and maybe some, office or staff, like just almost approaching a woman of age as if sex, it shouldn't be something that they're even partaking in.
In this day and time, still in this day and time, they're talking like, well, how dare you even think that you could steal or you're going to.
Yeah.
And
Where they were
I'm here to
surprised.
tell you differently. It's not that way, that women can keep on going.
Yes.
And
And
it's
don't lose the sex
and
drive.
it's wonderful.
And don't ever let the primary care doctors or anyone in society make you think that you get too old.
That's right, because you're
Don't-
not too old.
And you should never stop, never quit, right?
That's what I say, and this is what I'm going to keep doing.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to keep doing.
Do you feel like vaginal dryness, and again, is ever an issue?
No.
Yeah. And so I have, and the reason I bring that up mainly is because there's some books, and there was one, Great Sex Starts at 50, which I don't think is like really the topic of the book, but it does talk about how it should just be so different after 50 and lubrication is necessary. And would you agree with that it has to be real different after 50?
No, it don't have to be different. It could be just like it always was.
All right.
And that's much better.
Yes.
You don't have to add nothing.
Correct. I agree with you. I am fully on board. And so just so that women know that. So I think, is there anything else that you think you'd want to share about your experience that I haven't asked or brought up?
Just that don't believe everything that the doctors tell you, because it's not for them. It's for you got to think about you. If you're, say, a woman of 50 to 60 years old, they're going to tell you just very little. Just very little. They're not going to volunteer nothing, that's for sure. And you just have to fight to get in there and get what you need.
Yes. And if you don't find those answers, then looking for a specialist that actually treats women and specializes in hormone replacement, just so you can get the answers and solutions. Just knowing they exist, and you frequently aren't told that from
And
the
men don't
primary
know
care.
either. Men don't know either, so they can't help their wives if they don't know. They just
Yes.
assume she can't.
Yes.
I found that out because in my circle, the women my age were all doing what I was doing. And so my man, he said, well, don't worry about it. Everybody else is doing it. And so he was accepting it. And when I decided to do something different, he was all excited about that.
Yeah. And I'm sure he's loved the results
Oh,
too, right?
absolutely. You just keep on doing it, he said.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we become somebody's best friends. Like
Yeah.
I've had that happen. Like, when are you going to see my best friend? Just
Yeah.
because, again, women feel so different with it, and
Mm-hmm.
and who doesn't want that from our perspective? But our mates love that too. So
Yes.
yeah. No, I love the experience. I love that you came and shared. I will say that. So she has been doing some lasers because once you feel better, you want to look better. And you're resurfacing with that, and fine lines and wrinkles, and just tightening the skin, and collagen, elastin stimulation. So talk just a little bit about lasers. And then we did some pigment. We had her in for a recent training. We were doing a laser, and then in addition, she had some pigmented spots that happen with birthdays.
Yes.
And so we've treated that. So just a quick note on your aesthetic experience. And
It's an experience. It doesn't hurt like you think it's going to hurt. I was excited about it and excited to get it done. Something I wanted to get done. So I thought it was wonderful, and it's turning out well.
And the before and afters we'll have up just so you can see, but it is amazing because just like the overall glow, like, so your skin glows, your blood flow is better to it, it lifts and tightens some, and the pigment is just a little darker now. We just hit with the second one. But that's something that we get as we get older too, is just little pigmented
Oh,
spots.
yes, everyone.
And that will get better just with the general laser treatments we were doing. But when we were in on that training, we're like, hey, we can hit these a little harder. And she was up for it. So we did.
Yes.
So, but we'll show pictures just because I think it's key that Yes, we feel better, but we do lose collagen and elastin, and you can do regenerative treatments that actually just keep you youthful looking, and it doesn't have to be major. There doesn't have to be downtime, and there doesn't have to be any pain with it, but you just actually get that glow back and you
Yes.
revitalize your skin in addition to everything else. So,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, well, I love the fact that I have gotten to know Sonya over the last 4 years. And again, this was like a pretty like mellow talk for us because we get into all kinds of different
Oh,
things
yes,
and
we
usually
do.
a
Yes.
lot of laughter and maybe even some inappropriate conversations like here and there.
Yes.
But you never know what's going to come up in the office. Not completely inappropriate, just maybe for the primary care doctor's offices. But
It's just girl talk.
it's girl talk, and we're very open with our
Yes.
patients about that. And everybody needs a safe place to go and just have fun, right?
Yes.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And if there are any questions, let us know.